Prior to attending law school, he interned at San Francisco Magazine and wrote about local restaurants and bars. After studying for and taking the bar exam, he joined the international law firm of Layton and Watkins here in the San Francisco office. Please welcome to the podium Max Mazzelli.
To varying degrees, UC Hastings has been part of my life for longer than the past 3 years we are celebrating today. 5 years ago, I lived in the Tendermount, a rather salaciously named neighborhood right up the hill from here, and I passed our campus every day on my commute down Hyde Street to the East Bay. On the days that the light was red at McAllister and Hyde, I remember sitting in my car and watching these smart-looking students, usually deep in thought or conversation, casually walk between the library and the 198 building with their cell phones and laptops and textbooks in hand. And I remember thinking two things in quick succession. First, what an incredibly interesting place to learn about the law. Followed immediately by, wow, I really wish that man would stop peeing on my car. Now, of course, my preconceived notions about the Tenderloin, like most preconceived notions, were wrong. And all jokes aside, I know helping the Tenderloin and communities like it motivated many of you to pursue a law degree in the first place. And that brings me to my main point. None of us should lose sight of why we decided to put ourselves through the 3-year emotional hurricane that is law school. For me, it happened 4 years ago. At that time, my life was easier. It was simpler. My responsibilities promptly ended at 5 p.m. every day. Reading was for pleasure. I could hang out and party with my friends whenever I wanted. And my eyesight, rivaled that of a hawk. I literally can't see anything past the road. But that all changed immediately after accompanying my girlfriend to her admitted student stay at Santa Clara University School of Law, and accidentally sitting in on a mock legal ethics class. Within that hour, something clicked. It was not, unfortunately, the model rules of professional responsibility that caught my attention, but something about the subject matter fascinated me, and my inspiration for coming to law school was set. Simply put, I was, and still am, completely enamored with the law. I think it's a truly amazing and powerful subject. Now, I'll admit, Pat, reason is pretty lame on the spectrum of reasons to get a JD. Nonetheless, I think it's important, not only for me, but for our entire Hastings community, because we all have our own inspirations and motivations for being here. Maybe it's, as I said before, to assist communities like the Tenderloin. Maybe it's to ensure criminal defendants receive a fair trial. Maybe it's to influence our country's immigration policies. Maybe it's to protect consumer rights or children's rights and the environment. Maybe it's to help broker corporate deals. Or maybe it's simply just to get into huge amounts of debt. But whatever that reason is, it shaped you, it shaped me, and it shaped the class of 2014 into our class. Our motivations guided us to different concentrations, different competitive teams, different clinics, different journals, different pro bono projects, different student organizations, different externships, and in many ways, our motivations guided us to the good, the great, and the best friends we will all take away from this experience. For example, I'm sure my love of the intricacies of criminal procedure led me to South by Southwest in Austin, Texas over this past spring break with 7 of those great friends. You know, to test out those 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendments we all learned so much about. So, as we all move forward into the legal world, and undoubtedly face the stresses and troubles that a job in this field can cause, I hope we can all take solace in remembering why we came here in the first place. I know I will. It led me to this school, it led me to this career, but most importantly, it led me to all of you. So I know that I can trust that when I need it to, it will lead me in the right direction in the future. And I hope you all feel the same way. Thank you very much.
speak on behalf of the class. The student selected this year was a senior articles editor for the Hastings Law Journal, research assistant for a member of the faculty, and intern for several government agencies. From Coushatta, Louisiana, he received his undergraduate degree in English with honors from the University of Cincinnati and won a playwriting prize while there. Prior to law school, he worked as a beekeeper, teacher, and bellman, among other fields. Please welcome to the podium, John Beard.
Thank you, Frank. So you can tell I despise that hat. This is a nightmare come true, but thank you for allowing me to speak with you today. Before I address the class proper, I do want to thank all the loved ones here and all the loved ones who could not be here for helping to put all of you into your seats today through their countless acts of inspiration, encouragement, doggedness, love, and sacrifice. I won't say that you guys are the best, but I will say that your loved ones could have done far, far worse. So, thank you. I would love to tell you stories about law school, but honestly, all of my best stories revolve around a small bar up the street from Hastings called the Brown Jug. Very few of you have been there, I think. It's the only place I've been where the bartender is called the cops, and it was the bartender that was taken to jail. I did receive in part my education there. It was on how to bet on horses, mainly from people who were only at the Brown Jug because they did not actually know how to bet on horses. But for whatever small epiphanies I've gathered there, I won't bore you with those details. So instead, I'd rather give you my unchecked, possibly unfounded optimism. I suppose we can call it advice. That is a task that I think I'm woefully unprepared for, but I'll soldier on. See that more this time. Thank you. When it comes to law school, it's easy to think that there are definite winners and that there are definite losers. And this sentiment begins with school rankings, it continues with exams and grades, and it ends with employment, the prospects of employment, and maybe even the disappearance thereof. Perhaps finally, clerking at the food court. Success is fleeting and failure is forever. That's not a very upbeat message. Nor do I actually think that is true, so please don't remember that of me. But I don't think that's true, and I want you to believe me. Because if you don't believe me, then you must either feel that you are unbeatable or that you are doomed. And both are equally boring. And whichever way you swing, your stories will suck and be unbearable. If people in this world still had cocktail parties, no one would want to talk to you. I might have promised you optimism earlier. I still may deliver. I guess in part what I'm trying to say is don't mind losing a bit here and there. Each loss is but a scratch. And take heart that no one has yet to say death by 1,000 scratches. Although, full disclosure, except for a news article from 2010 on something called the soft insurance market, but I didn't want to lie to you. Someone actually has used that phrase before. So. Now, this being one of these kinds of speeches, I suppose I owe you a quote. It's what people love. George Bernard Shaw, respected playwright or whatever, once said, I think, I learned long ago never to wrestle with a pig. You get dirty, and besides, the pig likes it. Now, with all respect to George, if you care to learn anything from anyone today, and I don't think that you should because it is graduation day, but if you do, you should learn from the pig. 1, they are a very intelligent animal. 2, they look out for each other. And 3, when it comes to success and failure, it's all just mud, so you might as well find a way to enjoy every bit of it. So if I could say, in sum, it is to simply endure. But endure the misfortunes and setbacks in good spirits and with good company. That good company knowing exactly where you've been, and they will appreciate your good stories. And for all the times when what I just rambled on doesn't ring true to you, which might be often, I'll get the first round. Soda's fine, or water's fine, if that's your poison. It fits my budget. I know a place up the street from Hastings. And I know a guy who has a line on a sure bet. Thank you very much. Class of 2014.